Welcome back to our study of Fyodor Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov. We've been talking about the great insight that Dostoevsky had, that we come into being and our consciousness gets formed in relationship with one another. And in the novel, The Brothers Karamazov, Dostoevsky uses his characters to show what that idea looks like in a lived moment. In his own life, Dostoevsky observed that we do not enter into these moments of relationship as fully formed, completely autonomous creatures who don't need a thing. We actually enter into these moments of relationship as very needy beings. And what we need the most is to know that we're loved, to know that we are worthy of love and admiration. And so what we do in relationships is court admiring glances. We court the admiration of others so we can see ourselves reflected in their eyes and know that we are lovable and worthy of love. So in Dostoevsky's characters, we see this acted out. And what he shows us is that some days we need a little more reassurance than others, some days a little less. And when we're most in need is often when our relationships can become the most broken. And for Dostoevsky, that means that it's an attitude that we're taking towards the other person that we're relating to. So in a whole, complete relationship, we're actually treating the other person as someone who is a self like me, who has needs like me, and who deserves to be listened to and attended to, just the way I do. But in a broken relationship, I'm actually using the other person as a means to an end, as a prop to bolster my sense of self. So I am entering into that encounter with the other with the goal of manipulating out of that person the thing that I need the most, which is their admiration. And it doesn't always work as smoothly as one might think. So we're going to look at an example from the novel that occurs early on and provides a template for us for understanding all these relationships in the novel. And these relationships are, we have a sign that they're not going well, and it's often shows up in the feeling of being insulted or having taken an offense at something that someone says, and also feeling ashamed. So the characters throughout the novel express both these emotions of being insulted and feeling ashamed. And in this example, we're going to look at how those are connected. It's in a chapter early in the novel called The Old Buffoon, and it's about the father of the Karamazov family, Fyodor Karamazov. We're going to call him Papa K for short. And it's a scene where he is going to the local monastery in town to meet with Father Zosima, who is the elder of the monastery. This happens to be the monastery where his son Alyosha is currently apprenticed to become a monk. So, Papa K in this chapter describes himself as a buffoon. He says that despite being fully aware of what he's doing, he acts the part of the buffoon in most of his social encounters. He plays the fool, he tells off-color jokes, he uses inappropriate words, and it's often with prestigious people. He ends up insulting them. And he says that he does it just because he wants to be the life of the party. You know, he wants to liven things up, tell a good joke, make people laugh, even though he knows that he's hurting his own cause when he does it. He says, and I quote, he says, he behaves as though there is a madness in me. I dare say it's a devil in me. So Father Zosima calls him on this and says that the reason he's behaving that way is because he feels ashamed of himself. And Papa K agrees wholeheartedly with that assessment. And I'm going to read from the novel what he says to Father Zosima. He says, "When you said just now, 'Don't be so ashamed of yourself, for that is the root of it all,' you pierced right through me by that remark and read me to the core. Indeed, I always feel when I meet people that I am lower than all, and that they all take me for a buffoon. So I say, let me really play the buffoon. I am not afraid of your opinion, for you are every one of you worse than I am. That is why I am a buffoon. It is from shame, great elder, from shame." So Papa K says, I'm not afraid of your opinion, but he is. In fact, he needs their opinion desperately. He knows in his heart how much he needs their admiring glances. But he also feels completely unworthy of ever being able to win them. So he plays the part of the buffoon and is ashamed. He ends up despising himself for this neediness. And this is a common theme in Dostoevsky's work. What is called, after his story Notes from Underground, is called living underground. So when we live underground, we are very needy of other people's love and acceptance, but we deny it. And we posture as if we have no needs at all when we enter into relationships. So Papa K goes into these relationships acting as if he doesn't need anyone's approval by acting the buffoon and courting their disapproval. So he has this self-deceit. He thinks that he's proving his utter disregard for what people think of him by acting and courting their disapproval. So, but, you know, what happens? People will get insulted, as he knows they will be. And when they get insulted and angry at him, he doesn't take responsibility for being the cause of their anger. He says, well, why would you be so angry with me? I was just a little innocent joke. You know, he blames them instead of taking responsibility for himself. So Father Zosima accuses him of lying to himself, which indeed he is doing, and says, Father Zosima says, now, if you are lying to yourself, we'll know because you're actually enjoying being insulted. You're actually taking pleasure at being offended. And again, Papa K says, you're right. Not only is it pleasurable, but it's positively distinguished. Now, this is very twisted, that he feels distinguished while he's acting the buffoon. But it's because he so desperately craves their admiration, he plays the part of someone who is withholding the admiration from others. If he's the insulted one, it is they who need his approval, not he who needs theirs. So what I'd like to do is end this section and welcome your comments, and thank you for the comments you've already made. I've enjoyed them very much, and invite you to view the next session where we'll look at how Dmitri, the oldest son of Papa K, acts this out, this same broken relationship problem in his relationships with his fiancée, Katerina. Thank you.